Hello, my name is Oduro, and this is my POL. So, who am I? My hobbies include basketball, football, track, and even reading, and my interests include coding, tech, writing, and even baking. Who are my group members? My group members consist of Dimitri Malakakos, which was the researcher for our group, and his main hobbies were football, basketball, track, swimming, and even lifting. And then we have Giancarlos Panilo Ramirez, which was the interviewer for our group. He likes to do skateboarding, community work, and even likes to listen to music from time to time. So, this leads to my next slide, ideas throughout the project. So, the first idea that we had was trying to figure out ways to save animals and prevent plastic pollution through creating a video. The idea was through creating a video, we would be able to distribute this to other people to possibly be inspired to, possibly do or make action. And the problem with this idea was the fact that creating a video wasn't something that was purposeful enough because it was just something that we were hoping other people will be able to feel inspired by and possibly create change. The thing is, we realized that we had to create change by ourselves, which will allow other people to be inspired by what we did. So this led to our next idea that had us trying to figure out ways to possibly create change by ourselves. And this was trying to create a Go Green challenge. This Go Green challenge meant that we had to figure out a way to better the trash management systems at home. And this meant concycling. What's concycling? Anyways, recycling correctly, composting correctly, and even trying to eat better. The problem was that we were way too inexperienced when it came to this idea, and trying to figure out ways to motivate our own selves to devise a plan that's not only good for ourselves but also the community around us was something that we had trouble with at this middle of the year. So this led to the current idea that we have, which was trying to figure out ways to communicate and connect with outside resources and other individuals such as Kathy Wilson, which is on the screen, to figure out ways to possibly create a youth outreach program. And this youth outreach program will allow the younger kids to get a better understanding of the environment around them and possibly create environmental cleanups, which will be impactful not only for the environment but also for the kids and the community around us. So this leads to my next slide of what did I do throughout the year. So I was mostly the planner for our group, and after every wall or roadblock that we faced, I tried figuring out ways to improve our project either by venturing out to different people or possibly talking with Mr. Daly for guidance. Through this year, developing different ideas have led us to different outcomes, and these outcomes could be leading to new ideas or causing confusion in our project. And at the start of the year, I centered the project on environmental awareness. Our first idea, like I said before, was trying to allow people to understand the harms that has been caused to wildlife and sea animals from pollution. Once we did a brief presentation in class, we realized that this project wasn't just a statistical project, but it was way too broad and it wasn't impactful for the community around us. In the topic of environment, there are just way too many things to factor in, and for us to make an impact, we understood that we had to start small, and this meant being more specific in our goal. After that, we moved on to different ideas that involved us trying to figure out ways to better plastic pollution, maybe cause more awareness, allow more donations, sites and links to be distributed. And I soon realized that every idea that we had was still not enough for the people in the community around us. So we decided to communicate with the environmental club leaders in Morristown, and that led to the idea of us actually doing something that is actionable and possibly purposeful for not only right now, but possibly for later on in later years. So this led to my next slide, which has to do with expectations that I had at the start of the year. So for the class, the expectation that I had was how can I make this class go by as fast and simply get a good grade. When the year first started, my first thought was how can I get an A and in this class, and how can I do that as quick and easy as possible. I will admit I didn't realize the importance of creating a project from scratch and being able to give this out to people to be impacted by it. I was used to the traditional rubric system that teachers would give us, and I'll try and complete that to the best of my ability. Those were my first thoughts when entering this class and figuring out a way to devise a plan on how to use the rubrics to just make a good project or do good on my scores on a test or something like that. After doing a project that had us involving ways to focus on ways to expose the prior grading system that we had in our school, I knew that, and I realized that this wasn't just a "I'll teach you how to do it" type class, but this was a "you do it yourself" type class. And this is where Mr. Day's two words come in: action steps, become very important. What was I going to do next? What are your next action steps going to be the next class? Is something that he constantly reminded us. And this was when I knew this would probably be my easiest class and strangely my hardest class yet. For the project, my expectation at the start of the year was how can I create a quick and easy project? Now, joining a group was able to minimize some of the workload. But I realized that if you want to do something that is important to you and not only you, but the people around you, you have to put a lot of work into it. So I realized that quickly after doing the project, or at least doing a couple ideas that led us to possibly having to gain feedback from other people and led us to other roadblocks that I'll mention later on. Anyways, the next slide is what are my four traits that I've developed in throughout the year. So the first trait is humility and understanding that there are things that we don't know yet and that we can learn things from others. As the second trait is adaptability, the ability to transfer ideas and beliefs to a variety of situations without compromising the fundamental aspects of their original idea. Number four, mindfulness, or my bad. Number three, accountability, the ability to take ownership of the successes and failures of an action. And then number four, mindfulness, an awareness of self that includes a thorough understanding of your motivations, actions, reactions, behaviors, and even beliefs. So how did I develop these traits? So the first trait is humility, as I mentioned before, and various interviews with different people such as Farmer Sean, Disposal Inc., Kavia, and even Jessica, which are the MHS environmental leaders, allowed me to gain humility from learning from different people. Number two, adaptability, understanding how to utilize advice or feedback, even if it goes against your original thought. This was after feedback night, after we gained some ideas and critical feedback that we need, which was crucial towards our goal for the project. Number three is transparency and accountability, knowing what is realistic and instead using the setbacks as a way to improve in our new idea. In the sense that transparency serves to achieve accountability, which means that I can personally be held responsible for my actions. Mindfulness comes into play also here by being true to my actions and failures in a way that's beneficial for the outcome of the goal for the project. So, how did I develop these traits? Usually, when it comes to projects that involve other people, you have to try and figure out ways to cooperate with everyone's ideas and while satisfying yourself. Due to the importance of our project, I had to seek advice from multiple people, and seeking advice from multiple people causes you to have to change your way of thinking and use that information to the best of your ability. That's where humility and adaptability come in. I had to figure out ways to look into the project, and every single time I felt that we hit a new milestone, I realized that there was a small new hump that we had to overcome. And gaining advice from other people allowed me to figure out ways that I could possibly do better and really tackle the goal for our project. So through the advice given by them, I was able to learn how sometimes you can't always expect your first idea to work out without some tweaks. Before, I was usually uptight about allowing other people's ideas to come through when doing a project, but because I realized that this wasn't just a regular class, I realized that I had to gain advice from other people, and working with a group helped me with that. But also connecting with outside individuals also helped me with that. So understanding that this project was something that I really wanted to do was important, and developing these traits were also important for not only my overall school life, but also my personal life. So, how is this shown in the real world? So, the example one that I have is showing accountability and adaptability through being responsible with my actions to real world situations. So, specifically, a couple of days ago, my mother had an accident that caused her to use crutches for about a week, and this forced me to become more focused and use my time more wisely due to the fact that I had to take care of myself and my mother for a while. And completing tasks that have been assigned to me by the timeline I agreed was crucial. And being responsible for the overall well being of someone else is something that I need to work on. So, developing accountability through this project was crucial in my role and my ability to help my mother. So, in the second example, I have shown mindfulness and humility through understanding the importance of taking time and being present rather than worrying about the negative outcome. So, during this whole project, my group and I have done different ideas leading to different outcomes. And as said before, sometimes these outcomes can lead to dead ends, sometimes, and they can maybe lead to, they can introduce us to new ideas, which would be beneficial for our project. Through the whole creating new ideas project process, I realized that I had to figure out ways to stop worrying about and figuring out how to make the idea look good to others, rather than developing how I can make the idea purposeful for not only myself and my group, but also for the community around us. My mindfulness trait developed after that realization because I knew in order for us to do something worthwhile, I should figure out ways to create something that would not last for just the summertime, but also last for a while, leaving a footprint and a mark for other people to be inspired to do what we want to do, which was to create a better environment overall. So overall, I think I realized that if one person can feel impacted by my groups and I project or work, that's better than a bunch of people just not being inspired at all. And this is because I want people to understand that environment is an important thing that we should all be worried about, and possibly try and figure out ways that we could create a more efficient plan to lead to a better outcome, not only for now, but also for the future. So, anyways, thank you for listening to the slides that I have, and thank you for listening to my POL. My name is Alpha Oduro. Thank you for watching.